Welcome, foolish mortals, to the haunted mansion.
I think we're gonna be safe.
No sundial this episode?
Oh, it's such a good bit in this new Foolish Mortals episode. It's such a good bit. You'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm happy to be back here, man. It feels like we're getting back in the saddle. You know?
Yeah, man, it's good. It's Disney World's turning 50.
Oh,
and it's just like,
are you going out on Thursday? Or
no,
Friday?
absolutely not. I'll be there. I'll be there in November sometime, maybe late October. Listen, I was there for Epcot's 35th birthday.
I wasn't there the day for the 35th, but I was there that year.
I was there the day of, and what happened to me was only to be described as like a minor panic attack, because there were just walls to walls of people.
It's
there were
be
just
bad.
There were more people in Epcot, especially when there's events like I've never been on New Year's Eve either. So like when like the fireworks, when everyone's at the hub or everyone's at the World Showcase, like it's a lot of people that are going to be there, and I don't know, man. That's not the Disney World that I mean. I get that it's like a public theme park, you know, but like. I like to vibe like in the wintertime when it's cold and I gotta wear a sweatshirt and no one's around.
I do like vibing in the wintertime, especially with all the Christmas trees and music, but Dan, this is the first time I'll ever, besides Galaxy's Edge, I'll ever be at a park for the event. I have to do it once.
Oh yeah, buddy, 100% do it. I was there for Space 220's opening.
Okay,
and
so before we get into the spooks and the scary parts of the episode, I need to ask you, because I woke up my time at 3 a.m. and it was sweating buckets.
You did.
And I was shaking, and I got a reservation for myself and my wife.
Right, it's amazing. So you got to eat there like just days after I got to be there opening day. So I
haven't eaten there yet.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, was it this for a different trip?
October 16th. Is when we're
right. Okay.
So
I forgot.
If you're looking for offhand Disney at Space 220, just hang around the area. October 16th, all day. I'll be there.
October 16th, man. Oh, I was like, why do I know that day? Oh, because I'm working on a secret project, and October 16th is when something's happening.
Yeah. Tell me. How was the atmosphere, and how was
space
the
is great.
food?
Space is great. So we got there. I won't. There were shenanigans, man, getting into the place.
I would imagine.
I don't know if you like everyone.
Opening day.
I went opening day because you know what? It's fun to have those stories, you know, like
exactly.
to be like, hey, you have Galaxy's Edge, you know,
and
you
Rise
have that
of the
story,
Resistance, yeah.
Right? You have those stories to be like, I was here, and like, sure, those stories are fun now, but like in 20, 30 years, when these things have been like, they're just like canon to theme park lore, like these establishments, and you're just like, I was here when they opened, and people were like, no, you weren't. I'd be like, I was, and they ran out of Tang before I sat down. It was really upsetting.
What do you mean you're out of Tang?
But man, so we got there early. I went there with a couple of YouTube buddies, peers of ours, and man, my favorite part about being someplace opening day is playing Find Me in opening day vlogs. So there's like 7 or 8 vlogs of 220 where I'm there because I'm the tallest, largest thing in the crowd.
The bearded
you know.
man.
So but I really dig it, dude. It's got some fun experiences. It's got some fun.
I know what the inside looks like, but other than that, I have not been spoiled for anything. And I posted a tweet about this the other day where I'm like, it's like half Horizons / Space Station X1 early Disneyland ride for those of you who don't know, and then half like Garden Grill at Epcot kind of thing.
Yeah, but also Coral Reef in that it has a similar gimmick. It's got a similar gimmick to Coral Reef, you know, where it's like a wall of stuff that you get to like look at while you're eating. I would argue that it's more interesting to watch Coral Reef the wall at Coral Reef, because there's always something happening out there.
Yeah,
and
Space 220 is just space, and then sometimes an astronaut will fly by and have a lightsaber battle, I've heard.
Yeah. Right. That doesn't happen very often, the lightsaber battle. I was there for a solid hour and a half. I've actually, Dallin, secret time, I've been to Space 220 twice.
No
but there's
way.
a reason. I've been to Space 220 twice. But we got there, there was like, it was like literally like Leonidas holding back like the Persians in 300. Like there's like 7 cast members, and they were all just holding hands. They're like, hold, hold the line. Cast members like almost got trampled. It was
have a
rough.
wall of shields out.
Yes, it was. There were a bunch of, and you know who you are. There are a bunch of these people who like got in the line and then like got out of the line and circled around the flower bed and like stood on the other side of the flower bed so that when the ropes dropped, they could like run in faster. But
wow.
But I just brute forced in there, and we ended up waiting. They said it was going to open at 11. They didn't actually open till 12, and we sat down to eat around like 1:30 or so.
That's not bad for a lunch, No.
It's like for an opening day attraction, you know, like I would rather sit and pound space meat in my face and wait an hour and a half for rope drop for space meat face time than like Ratatouille. That
right.
Like in half not the language I speak. You know what I mean? So it's just like
at least I'm getting some space meat. Speaking of the lore for this, it's the Alpha Centauri space station, which is before the Bravo Centauri space station, which is in Horizons, by the way. Just a little nerd thing for you guys there. How do they get the space cows up there? Are they up there, or do they bring them up on the elevator like at the beginning?
So the
of the
lore,
day?
The lore is, I love this. The lore is, first off, the lore is awful because the lore is very it's very classist.
Okay.
Right now,
Amazing.
there's a space in the lore of Epcot. There's a space hotel circling Earth, and only the elite billionaires and trillionaires can go and stay there. But you, as the common man, can take an elevator up to a isolated restaurant in the hotel that guests can't eat at, but there's only there for plebes, I guess, like losers.
Wait, so it's isolated, so like the rich people don't have to smell us or see us?
Right. No, they don't have to smell us, but they do see us because we become a poor person's zoo. Because whenever you see someone like spacewalking, it's the rich people just like hanging out in space. Like they're out there taking selfies, doing like, lightsaber battles and stuff. And so it's this very classist thing. It's just like, you're too poor to be out there, but you're not poor enough to spend $500 for a dinner for 3, So it's like,
that's kind of hilarious to me.
it is. It's incredible. I'm like very tempted to do a video about the problem with the classist 220.
We're doing this video together, Dan. We're doing this video together.
Okay. Perfect. I'll wait until you go, and then we'll take all of our hot takes and we'll do a video together.
All right. That's so, because you just have like Jeffrey Bezos and Richard Branson
yes,
out there.
it's very much like that. They're like the queue. They're like, oh yeah. There's a lot of like really like there's a lot of space tourism, guys, and so there's a hotel up there. It's very exclusive. It's very hard to get into, but this elevator, the Stellelevator, takes you up to the very exclusive lounge that that only is so.
Okay, so lore-wise, this is the equivalent of us getting the privilege to spend $500 eating at the Grand Floridian, lounge bar. The doors are closed, and the guests can look in at us.
Kind of no. Imagine if there was like an elevator that took you up to the porch of Club 33, right. And you could hang out on the porch,
but you still
and eat hot dogs. Yeah. Eat $75 hot dogs on the porch of Club 33 while all the windows are open and all the rich people who are eating at Club 33 just gawk at you.
I am a massive fan and a massive hater of the Space 220 lore at the same time. This is the best.
And so, all produce is locally grown in space.
I've seen the tunnel. I've seen the space tunnel. The veggie tunnel.
It's living with the space.
Yes.
And
living with the stars.
Living with the stars. And all the protein is shipped up. and there are often, and this is all one of my bigger complaints about the experience inside their dining restaurant, is that there are often like docking ships and like cargo ships and like shuttles that are moving around the space outside the windows.
Right.
And like it would be hilarious to me if they're like, fine dining protein delivery arriving now, and so like, and as the spaceships, but it's practically silent inside the restaurant.
It's probably like a
other
low
than mood
hum,
music.
right?
No. It's just mood music in the restaurant. There's a low hum in the bathroom, and there's a low hum in the hallway when you get on the top of this elevator. But in the dining space, it suddenly the kinetic energy drops out in the dining space. In the lobby and in the bathrooms, and like even a little bit at the bar, there's a little bit of kinetic energy. But like in the dining experience itself, it's very flat.
That's an interesting call. I would say, why not have both? Because you're in a space station. You Google space station ASMR. You're gonna come up with a lot of low humming sounds.
Yeah, baby. It's all about that Star Trek hum. That forward deck hum that is in like every Star Trek episode.
Exactly.
Like that. That's where that white noise magic is at. And I was kind of
rumble.
Right. And then the other thing that stood out to me is how all the space plastic, like how all the space. It felt very Star Tours. It felt very Pandora. It felt very how like Disney, whenever something has to be like future space, everything they make all those those big plastic shells that are squarish and round on the corners. You know what I mean? Like
right?
they're always those. There's all those very specific like vacuum form shapes.
Right.
That like they just have the molds of and they're spacey and they're like, well, I guess
this is the future.
So. This is the future. Yeah. So, the entire time I was in there, I felt like this experience was wasted on Mission Space and would have been so much more appropriately used in something like an equivalent of Be Our Guest to like Guardians of the Galaxy. So you could go and eat. You could go and eat on the Milano, and one room is the forward-facing deck with the big windows, and then the other room's the cargo bay, and the other room's like the mess hall. Like use it and maybe we will, and maybe this. I continue to say that Pandora was just a dry run for Galaxy's Edge.
It was,
and I think that this is just a dry run for a little bit of the technology in the Star Wars hotel, because it has so much of that energy. It has so much of that that it feels like they were just playing around with like, okay, like every good scientist is like, all right, let's do half the experiment first just to figure out how it works before we do the big experiment. And so, like this felt very much like, let's just test some stuff out in a high class dining thing with very anyway.
So. You're totally making sense, because this, I think, do you think the Disney fandom would have been angrier if it was a Guardians of the Galaxy themed restaurant like this because it's an intellectual property, whereas this is an original Disney non-themed restaurant?
I think that the lack of theming, the lack of an IP or something adjacent makes the world feel very flat once you get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of activity going on outside. Not a lot of stuff. It's like, yeah, I see you watch one or two spaceships go by, or you see the same couple float down in the span of 45 minutes.
Right.
And you're just like, all right, I've seen it, I guess. I'll just turn over here now and start eating. It's not like the coral reef where it's like, oh, there's a shark. Let's see what a shark does. We can watch it for half an hour, or like,
can you imagine if it was like, if they had like an AI system similar to like Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in California, where there is always something going on, multiple somethings going on the screen at different times, different areas, different that would be cool.
Well, there is that AI. It's just not very, because there's 11 windows, and when you're eating in there, depending on where you're at, you have very limited view or just too much of a view. So there's always nonsense going on. It's just a matter of like, it's just sparse nonsense. And if I listen to Chris Hadfield well enough, I'm to understand that space is just full of garbage. Like there's just garbage, space garbage floating around, like, because we have like, it's full of satellite. There's just, it's like an escapist view of Earth. It's very bare bones up there in space.
So speaking of space garbage, do you think if every hour and a half, they would go through, say, like a meteor shower, and the lights would go from blue to red, and seats would rumble.
Yes, that's what. Yes, the Rainforest Cafe-ness of it is definitely missing.
Cafe. Yep.
Where occasionally we're like, oh, there's like or like occasionally like like every hour,
or like a whole breach where there's just like fans blowing on you and the air's getting sucked out somehow.
Well, right, yeah, like a micro like an event. Like meteor,
yeah,
like in Gravity or whatever, like just some shenanigans that just shenanigan, that
happen for 5-10 minutes and then go away.
Right. Well, it's not even right. Or it's like comets could pass by and it's like a station be like announcing the arrival of X comet. Like it's like, okay, we're space tourists, but once we get up there, it's like no one cares about us once we're up there. It's strange. It's strange.
That is interesting. And so there's the atmosphere and theming. How was the food, Dan?
The food was high class wedding food. I mean, it's the patina. It's the Patina Group, so it's like it's fancy it's a fancy restaurant. It's a fine dining corporation that like it just feels like everything is very assembly line.
Yeah, it's
in
fine
a way.
Dining, but it's like if McDonald's was fine dining, where everything's on the conveyor belt.
Right, yeah, it's like I was at a wedding and all the steaks just were made and warmed up. It felt like, like the drinks were fun, but no more fun than Abracadabra, which is awful. So, I don't like Abracadabra. So those drinks are better served in space. They're better served in space.
Yes.
So.
And I could go either way in Abracadabra. I've had some amazing experiences there with the amazing bartenders. I've had some terrible experiences there with their drinks are weird. But the people are always great. The theming's a bit. I like the theming. I would say overall I'm a fan. What don't you like about Abracadabra?
When the magic screens work, it's great.
Yeah, when they switch every 2 hours.
Yeah. It just feels very like after you get Trader Sam's and the level of intimacy and magic. Yeah, and like Oka's, the fact that they're like, we're doing a magic bar and we're gonna do nothing with it. It's like, what do you mean you're doing a magic bar and the only trick you have is cotton candy disappears?
This could be the Haunted Mansion bar. That could be I'm thinking a similar sort of vibe for the Haunted Mansion bar, except everyone's dead and animatronics and effects and maybe every Friday night you got Jerry the Magician coming in and doing some tricks.
Well, you know what? Space 220 does pull into the Haunted Mansion because all of the animated effects are using a brand new high-tech Pepper's Ghost system that is like state of the art. It's like this new domed Pepper's Ghost where above where you're eating, there's these big dome screens that are playing the animations that are then reflecting. So it's this big Pepper's Ghost. Yeah, it's new age Pepper's. It's digital Pepper's Ghost. I guess they use those in arcade games a lot and stuff, but it's this new kind of and similarly, it's Pepper's Ghost in the Stellavator too. It's this reflective dome like projection trick.
Interesting.
To get the and the Stellavator animation is so like Command and Conquer 2, Tiberian Sun. It's like it's bizarrely grainy and 480p and CGI.
No.
It's weird. It's weird.
Man, I was hoping you would say the opposite. I'm gonna reserve my own judgment though, because I always do like to reserve judgment. Is there any reference to Space Station 77 or Starport 75?
There are references to the mission space stuff. I think that you're suited up, like the people out there are suited up in similar colors and suits that you see in the queue and display and like in the ride. I don't know.
The space station and Starport being Space Mountain is what I'm speaking of. Do you know?
I don't know actually.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that when I'm there.
There is one animation where two people are carrying some racking, like it's like a big piece of racking that they're moving. But when they come back down, they are clearly carrying a piece of roller coaster track, clear as day. So that's if I had to bet that it's a galaxy, maybe it's a galaxy's Cosmic Rewind. Yeah, or maybe it's a space. I don't know, but they have a piece of roller coaster track at one point. So I have a lot of. But yeah, it's very devoid of. It's weird. It's really fun, but it doesn't have a lot of fun stuff mixed into it outside of its main premise.
Because like it's separated off from the rich people. So if you could get, I guess it's not lore friendly, but have some astronauts come in there every now and then. I don't know.
Yeah, what I would like to do, Dallin, is maybe we can do this. Like we'll get reservations together. When Spirit Halloween closes, they have a lot of like spacesuits. They have a lot of these space jumpsuits, Dallin.
Dan, say no more. Say no more.
I want to get as many of us as we can, and I wanted to get us like doing slow walks, like through the wall corridors.
That would be the best collaboration video of all time.
Yeah, get a bunch of vloggers to dress as astronauts and send out the same Amazon. We could honestly organize this like a vlogger flash mob where we're all in each other's videos. We'll just all try to book the same reservation. It would be so much fun. Oh my gosh. But at the very least, me and you got to dress like astronauts and go eat in space.
Right? And did you go to the lounge while you were there? Because apparently the lounge is open.
Here's the thing, is that your reservations are for the blacktop tables, which is a price fixed menu. But if you sit at the white top tables or the bar, which cannot be reserved, they're walk up only, which is kind of nice.
That's amazing.
So that if you can wiggle your way in there kind of, and the bar food and lounge food is so much better than the regular dining menu. It's incredible. And I had dinner, I had Caesar salad, I had lunch, I had Caesar salad and steaks. Yeah. But when I had when I went to the lounge by myself the following day to get the Tang drink, the Big Tang, which they ran out of when I was there. It's
they were out.
And that's how you get astronaut ice cream. It's the only place astronaut ice cream's in the restaurant is a garnish on the Big Tang. They had freeze dried stuff, but they had like chicken and waffles. They had like bacon, maple bacon, deviled eggs. They had some really delicious stuff. It was really good.
That sounds amazing. All right.
Yeah.
So you said it ties into the Haunted Mansion with Pepper's ghost, and we are now 20 minutes into the video. So let's talk about the Haunted Mansion, Dan. What do you say? We did this
Foolish
last
astronauts?
Time. We did the Foolish Astronauts. That should be the thumbnail. We can Photoshop some space helmets on us, and instead of the background being like the parlor, it'll be space, and we're just sitting in our chairs in space.
I love that.
Make it happen.
I love that.
Haunted Mansion. We did this last episode where we talked like 45, 50 minutes about, what was it? Muppets Haunted Mansion?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, I wanted to center this video around one animatronic that kind of used Pepper's ghost at the beginning, not really. He's a legendary figure, Dan, a legendary figure in the Haunted Mansion that is still not present where you are. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. I'm sure that gave it away.
HB.
The old HB. This is HB's episode.
Hatbox Ghost episode.
Hatbox Ghost. So, tell me.
Hats in space.
Tell me what you know about the Hatbox Ghost. Where did this legend all begin, Dan? You tell the story.
Well, he was like he was this like animatronic effect that they really couldn't perfect, but they had built, and he was there for a period of time when Haunted Mansion first opened in Disneyland. And he was mostly clear acrylic. It felt like a lot of like plastic shower curtain-y, very much. And the effect was just using tasteful lighting, which would allow the face of the ghost to disappear from off his shoulders into his hat box. It didn't really work, and it was retired shortly thereafter. There was hot debate on whether or not it even existed, but fine folks like you have done hard investigative work and proved that it's been there. It was there.
It was there. It was in the mansion for either a matter of days or a matter of weeks. I think it was a matter of days when it
feels like days. It feels like days.
And yeah, you're right. The modern Hatbox Ghost, we're just going to skip ahead to him. If you look at him, he's very much not made out of clear plastic. He's definitely, I don't know what, he's not really even made out of like fabric. The clothes that he wears isn't like fabric. It is a sort of like plastic, like stage material.
Raincoat. It's very raincoaty.
Yeah. And so
maybe even like a leather, even like a pleathery leather.
Yeah, like a very thick leather.
Yep.
And okay, so the effect obviously didn't work well because instead of making the animatronic figure colored itself, you would have all these lights shining on it to make it look like it's a spectral, ghost.
Yeah.
And with all those lights shining on it, you're going to be able to see inside the hat box no matter what. Because it was essentially a scrim that was lit you know, they did it with the stretching room. They did it with the graveyard. If it's lit from a certain angle, you know, you can see through it one way or the other. And the scrim was essentially lit at all times, whether it be the effect happening or the lights from outside shining onto the Hatbox Ghost. And so the effect did not work. It was just like seeing both heads at the same time. And then whenever his head would disappear off of his shoulders and appear in the Hatbox, it would just seem like the Hatbox head got lit up a bit brighter. You could still see both heads. It was really bad.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
But what's interesting, Dan, is that was not the original Hatbox Ghost animatronic, because people, this is all a whole conspiracy. They lost that animatronic. We don't know whether it was recycled or if it's back in the
Buzzy
shop somewhere.
style.
I don't know about Buzzy, but it was like
Lost to the Ages.
In the day before, before they did the, you know, archival stuff, they would just get rid of these animatronics. They'd either scrap them or they would recycle them or they put them in storage. Yeah. And no one knows where that animatronic went. If it was scrapped, no one knows, Dan.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's a mystery.
What do you think? What do you ultimately think happened?
I think he was recycled into other animatronics. I'm not necessarily. I'm not gonna say that there was one specific animatronic. The legend is that he was recycled into the, I think his name was Sam Eagle before the Muppets were huge. The Eagle animatronic from America Sings.
Yeah, Sam Eagle. Yep, Sam Eagle.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You know, I would imagine that there were a lot of parts in that animatronic. There were a lot of pneumatic pistons.
Right.
At a time where the company was growing rapidly and building new stuff constantly.
Huge.
So I would assume that the costume, it was de-costumed, and that probably yellowed very quickly and just got disposed of because it was all 70s acrylic, which was not UV treated in any way, shape, or form. It just did not have a shelf life. So I imagine that it was stripped down and then those things just deteriorated very quickly. Yeah. Then the animatronic itself was parted out or repurposed into something else, and it just kind of truly faded away, honestly.
Right. It became other animatronics. So in a way, Dan, it's sort of beautiful that the Hatbox Ghost is still around in some shape and pieces in the Disney parks today.
I believe Mufasa taught us that is what we call the circle of life.
The circle of life. Now, whether this just means the frame of the Hatbox Ghost was recycled into Sam Eagle, or if the entire thing, I'm assuming it was maybe bits and bobs here and there. Maybe, I don't know. But,
well, I think that when you start to realize that, like, all the new presidents go on the same animatronic frame, and then when the new president comes along, they just stick them on they just take the clothes and put them on a new frame in the back. Yep. But the main animatronic up front still stays the same because it's because it's an A1000 or an A100
exactly
or whatever, you know. And so
that's got to be the most redressed animatronic in Disney history.
Right. And so, like, the evidence, the breadcrumb, Occam's razors, folk, the breadcrumbs are here that they use all this. This is just how they do. You know, that's just how they do.
Right. But here's the thing, Dan, is, believe it or not, there was not just one Hatbox Ghost animatronic made. There were two Hatbox Ghosts.
This is what's blowing my mind. Okay, tell me about this.
It was not made for the Orlando Mansion, but it was made for promotional images. If you Google any picture of a man named Yale Gracie, you will see him posing with a Hatbox Ghost figure or animatronic. You never see it move, it's a photo. That is completely different from the picture of the clear plastic one that we ended up getting in the mansion. Different face mold, different body mold. It is the Hatbox Ghost, but it's a completely different figure.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah. Just Google Yale Gracie, and it'll come up with him posing, with pictures of the head in the hat box.
Yeah. Okay, different. Yes, I've seen these photos.
Yes.
Yeah. So this was just a promo one. Is this one that we probably was like a mock-up of what the effect might be?
It must have been. It must,
before they rolled it out.
So that means, Dan, that there's not just one piece of Hatbox Ghost, animatronics circulating through the park animatronics these days. There are two somewhere, unless this one was completely disposed of.
I have to imagine that this one is just a static figure. They had those. Rolly did interview after interview where he has said, and it blows my brain that they would like, when they were trying to figure out what to do with the mansion, they were building full out attractions in warehouses, like the pirate room.
The whole
like
thing.
I would like to see their like walk-through pirate room attraction that apparently just mesmerized I would have loved to have witnessed that. And so they did all these proof of concepts when dumped a ton of cash into them. So it is, I'm not hard pressed to believe that they built something like that to see how it peppered ghosts, because you can see in those pictures with Yale Gracie, some of them are like kind of translucent, like they were playing around with the idea of it being half Pepper's ghost, half not,
right?
You know, and he's like, so I think they were really experimenting, and that's like an experimental one. If you I only base that off of like listening to Rolly talk about how they just built big things left and right that just ended up getting, they just were not used, were just destroyed just for the purpose of testing, you know?
Can you imagine, Dan? Can you imagine seeing the Lost Pirate scene or the Lost Mansion scene?
Right. When people ask me what I would do if I could time travel, I'm like, time travel back to the 50s and slowly infiltrate my way into what might become Imagineering.
Just tell them like, yeah, I know about this little thing. It's called pneumatics. Have you ever heard of it?
Right.
Try solar power. I know.
Time
about
travel to the
solar
50s, heavily research pneumatics and solar power, become an indispensable asset to Walt. That would be what I would do with time travel.
Exactly. And that way you get your own you get your own Epcot pavilion to design. Dan, what would you design for your own Epcot pavilion?
I would like to think that they wouldn't give me an Epcot pavilion.
No, they would
just
you're the solar power pneumatics guy.
Oh, you know what? That's true.
You get your Epcot pavilion. Rolly got the land.
This is where I'd roll in some other fresh ideas that I have, such as harnessing the power of lightning to power the theme parks. Why are we doing that? And the amount of lightning that shuts down Test Track, why aren't we harnessing that energy,
you could, dare I say, you could open an attraction called Harnessing the Lightning.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Which every once in a while it actually harnesses lightning, and
for
that's
real?
and we get for real, and we get so much tax credit for it. Like it's not like it doesn't do anything, but it was a passion project that was like you know what? It's like Tony Stark's arc reactor pre getting kidnapped by the fake 10 rings.
It was a museum piece, you know?
Right. Exactly. This lightning thing is just going to be a museum piece, but then one day a robot Walt will be powered by all the lightning I've harnessed.
We'll bring him
Do you
back.
understand?
Yes. We're going to bring it back. I actually talked about that apparently a lot in my last Disney Iceberg video. If you haven't checked that out.
Oh, yeah, man. I saw you did the Disney Iceberg. For the longest time, I've been racking my brains like, who's the best man to go to make a fresh, even deeper Disney Iceberg than some of the ones we've seen? I think it's you and me, buddy. I think you and I have the talents to make an iceberg that's unvideoable. That just can't be done.
I think we can, because like I made the video and I was like, there's a couple things on the lowest of the low iceberg, and it's like Club 33, and it's like, come on.
Yeah. What about the pirate, like the pirate room? That would be on the lowest iceberg.
Yeah,
thing.
like the test scene room.
Right.
Second Hatbox Ghost animatronic. That'd be like the second one down, I think, because that one's pretty easy to figure out. But like, what would be on the bottom of the bottom, Dan?
Ooh, okay.
Bottom Disney iceberg. So your pavilion, your answer is harnessing the lightning for future world, I would assume.
Well, but I have to roll in with solar stuff, so you know.
Harnessing. So you'd be doing your version of Universe of Energy.
Yeah. How much of Universe of Energy actually went into energizing the ride? Is the question.
That's something to think about.
I'm sure Rob has a video about it. We'll have to just Google it.
All right,
later.
So that was that. What did I ask you about before? What were we on? Dan, do you remember?
Hatbox 2. Hatbox 2. We were talking about Yale Gracie.
Oh, I need to go back in the footage.
We were time traveling at some point.
Time traveling.
And what would my pavilion be? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I'm gonna be watching this over and I'll be like, you talked about it 3 minutes ago. Like, what's wrong with you? Okay. So yeah, the Hatbox Ghost. He debuted with the mansion, and it was amazing. It was such a bad effect following the attic scene with the bats flying around and the cobwebs that would brush your face physically.
Physically.
And with all of that, it was so noticeable how bad the Hatbox Ghost was that they had to take him out.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
It must have been horrible, Dan.
It must have been. Because we've seen what they've left in.
We saw what they went with. If they had to take that out.
Okay, if there was a that's the real thing. That's the real question. If there's one thing in the Haunted Mansion that you just want to get rid of because it's just a mess, what would you get rid of?
Oh man. Well, I would change the voice of the bride in the attic. I'd change the whole bride. I'd change everything about Constance. I think that animatronic, it's not even an animatronic, it's a projection figure, has not aged well at all. At all.
Keep Constance, but she needs a whole new energy.
Yeah, give her an animatronic. Redo Constance completely.
You know what? That makes it, Dallin, that's so smart of you. And what we do is we use the Hatbox technology but with Constance, so that she can phase in and out of the attic left and right. She's constantly disappearing and yes, she's constantly disappearing and reappearing around the portraits of her like we do something cool like that.
I'm right there with you. Keep the middle school lenticular binder photographs, or would you replace?
No, man. Have we talked about lenticular printing?
We have.
Oh, you're making my teeth hurt, man.
Just run your finger across.
No.
I did that for fun in middle school.
I can't hear you. You're over here now. Until I feel safe.
All right, Dan, it's over. I've gotten all the lenticulars out of my system.
Yeah, we could get rid of those lenticular prints. Just a couple OLEDs doing what they did with the Harry Potter, some OLED screens with some of the Harry Potter Q, like energy with those moving portraits that are just screens with matte covered glaze on them.
Yeah, and that's what
we have a lot of fun.
That's I believe that's what the changing portraits are in Orlando. I do not believe they're the same because paintings that Disneyland has.
No, because they've changed. Yeah, they now go with the lightning, right?
Yep.
They like change. Yeah.
And they both have their appeal. Disney World's changing portraits are more clear when they transform, but Disneyland's, I think, look more realistic. So it's give and take. Okay. So they take the Hatbox Ghost out. He is relegated to the realm of myth and legend, Dan, for the better part of 50 years, 45 years, I believe. And then, Dan, in the early 2010s, Disney debuts a brand new Hatbox Ghost audio animatronic concept at D23.
Yeah, at D23. Yeah, at D23, right? Yeah. Right. Now, that one is still different from what we ended up with, correct?
Honestly, thank goodness that it is different, because I did not like the look of that animatronic at all, personally.
I'm Googling it real quick.
I remember. Lanky. His cane is very small. He looks
he's
very
weird.
Young. Yeah.
It's almost like they used the Jack Skellington like animatronic to drape with.
It looks
he's very bony, very lanky.
And I get they're going for, because the Hatbox Ghost in the mansion now is bony, but he's not like he's a hunched over old man. He's not like very large and lanky like this one is.
My question is just, what were we showing off anyway? Like, it's like, here's the Hatbox animatronic that doesn't do the thing that we still, it was like, what were we showing off?
You guys remember the Hatbox Ghost animatronic effect that we hated? Well, it's still not here. We're still not doing it.
Yeah, it still doesn't work. Check it out.
I think, Dan, that was Disney's way of saying, hey, keep an eye out.
Yeah, you're right. They probably were.
It was them. It was them seeing, gathering feedback on, hey, how does this animatronic look, kind of thing. Because he had an empty hand where his Hatbox should be. He was just had a closed fist and nothing. He wasn't holding anything.
Yeah. And he's also draped like he's about to sing me like love songs.
He looks like
from in the 70s.
Yeah, he looks
like it's like a vinyl out there. You know what I mean? Hatbox Ghosts
sings the oldies.
Yeah.
Hatbox Ghost sings you to sleep.
Yeah, he's got some interesting looks.
He doesn't look like the old hatter traveling from town to town vagrant kind of guy. He looks more like a pop,
Liberace-esque,
yeah, kind of guy.
He's very much like, hey! Hey, Hatbox is here.
He's got his candelabra.
Who needs a hat?
Yeah. Elton John style.
Yeah. Oh no, his candelabra just follows him and floats behind him.
It floats down the hallway at him.
It never sits on the piano. It always floats above the piano. You understand?
Right. I guess that makes more sense.
Man, the Hatbox Ghost is a lounge act with.
That's gotta be in our lounge. That's gonna be in our better abracadabra, where it's
every once in a while his head disappears off of him at the piano and reappears in the audience, and he's still singing, but his head's just floating around. He's like, whoa, you know. Ah, boo, baby, whoa, and he reappears back on stage. He's still playing.
Yeah, and the backup singers, the backup instruments are like Leota's like seance room floating instruments playing.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would buy a ticket to that.
I would spend $200 for some Patina Group food for that.
That's our nighttime. I know we were really big fans of the Spookty Doo review. Yeah. But I think that our Haunted Mansion Hotel actually has a Hatbox Liberace evening, an evening with Hatbox.
An evening with Hatbox. And he's like, hey, he doesn't even have a name. He just comes up on stage, he's like, hey, everyone, how we doing tonight? My name is Hatbox, and I'm going to be singing you the blues tonight.
Yeah, HB Blues.
It's the HB Blues.
Yeah.
Voiced by, of course, by Corey Burton, but then like he starts singing and it's just like covers. It's like spooky covers of popular music, you know, where they just change some of the lyrics to make it like Haunted Mansion theme.
Yes, yeah. I really truly do love this, and I hope that one day when we get to the place where they're doing like Star Wars Visions but for Haunted Mansion, one of them is a Liberace Hatbox Ghost.
Dude, if Muppets Haunted Mansion is a success and the Haunted Mansion movie with Owen Wilson is a success, I'm gonna say it. They're gonna start Haunted Mansion's gonna be its own franchise.
Lord willing, and they're going to give old Yellow Shoes a call. Yellow Shoes going to give us a call here to be like the comedic relief in the episodes.
We'll be
you know
on the
what I
ground
mean?
floor of this. I'll be Ezra.
We'll just be and I'll be Phineas.
Oh yeah, or we could just be the background singers. You know, all of us with our microphones in the back. You know, doing the shoulder, the step touches.
Right. Now we just need someone incredibly short to be Gus.
We'll get back to you on that. If anybody knows any short bearded men, just give us a call. Who was Gus in the live action? Do you remember the Disney Visions, the Disney Dreams photo shoot? Remember it was like Taylor Swift was Rapunzel?
Yeah,
and
it was the
Jason Segel and Jack
Inconceivable.
Black. It was Jack Black.
Jack Black. Yeah, Jack Black. And then what's his face played that character in the movie? Because there was like weren't there like the three bumbling idiots in the movie?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's Rex. He's Rex.
Yeah, Inconceivable.
Yeah,
guy.
From Princess Bride. I've seen Princess Bride once, and I loved it. What's his name?
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't.
I'll always
Rex,
know him.
Yeah.
I'll always know him as Rex because that was my childhood.
Anxiety guy.
The guy who's always nervous.
Yeah, that's definitely his trope.
Man. Okay, so Hatbox Ghost. That'll be the fourth incarnation of a Hatbox Ghost figure. The two original ones, the one new one. I guess it'd be the fifth. The two new ones, and then the Liberace one.
The Liberace one, yeah. What spearheaded? Was there any kind of like what spearheaded getting the Hatbox back into Disneyland? What event was it that like it was like we're doing it?
I remember they told the story. There was an Imagineer, and he made it his personal mission. He was high up enough where it's like, you're an Imagineering. If you just have like a passion project, you know, you could just get like 3 people and just have a build it kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm saying this all the time about management at Disney. It's like all we need is one person who wants to do one thing as a legacy thing, you know. And I think that if I was ever put in that position, it'd be a Walt animatronic. It'd be like a Walt show.
Where would you put it?
Like that would be
like where Phil
Carousel of
Magic
Progress
is now. Or yeah,
Carousel of Progress. No, I would gut Carousel of Project, rebuild it all as a Walt story.
No.
Using Walt's.
Dan, you give us back Carousel of Progress, and we'll let you do your Walt show.
I was thinking we could divvy up the scenes from Carousel of Project, give one scene to the Smithsonian, give one scene, you know, like hand out the scenes so they can still live on in certain places, so you can go and still visit them. You know what I mean? Like send one to the Walt Family Museum. You know, put one in like.
Yeah, you gotta send the original back to the Walt Disney Family Museum. The 1900 turn of the century one goes to the Family Museum. I would rather keep it all together though, and give a use to that giant circular building at the back of Tomorrowland at Disneyland that is currently home to nothing. Home to nothing,
Yeah.
Dan.
Nothing.
You don't think it's always funny to me how they have such little room at Disneyland, yet there's so many places in the parks where there's just nothing. It's interesting to me. The back of most of Tomorrowland, you know, the back lot of DCA over by, you know, Avengers Campus. It's just come on. So they used the Hatbox Ghost at D23 to get some feedback, maybe to see how that looks. Apparently, the feedback was a resounding, just make it look like it used to. And so, for the 40,
we don't reinvent the wheel.
For the 45th of the Haunted Mansion, I believe, or something like that, they announced with a single photograph that the Hatbox Ghost would be returning to the mansion. And before this, Dan, speaking of lenticulars, I know you love them, there was a wall that went up outside the attic where the Hatbox is today of a window, and inside that window, it would be just like sort of like darkness, and then you'd pass by it, and there'd be like a gargoyle from the stretching room inside, as is a lenticular.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was a sort of like mini temporary scene that they had going on right there. Just like
so did they put up a wall so they could start working behind it?
Yeah, they were putting up the animatronic. And so
that's cool.
This was before they had even announced he was coming back. So everyone was like looking at each other going like this, like they're bringing the
what did they just
Ghost.
do?
Yeah. The Hatbox Ghost is coming back. And so they announced it and they brought it back, Dan, new and improved. And this one Imagineering, it was his legacy project. He figured out how to do the effect pretty well. I will say there's one problem where the hat is a little dim, the head is a little dim when it's in the Hatbox, but for the most part, it works better. And now, Dan, it
does work.
Do you know how the effect works? How they changed it from last time?
I believe it's a combination of a screen, Pepper's ghost, and some physical animatronics doing some things.
Yeah. So his normal face when it's on his head is a projection, you know, because it looks like a projection, but this is the only way they could do it. I hate projection animatronics for the most part. Frozen Ever After is very bad.
Buzz Lightyear.
The ride is amazing. The faces.
Lightning McQueen. That Cars ride is so great, except for Lightning McQueen's mouth. Lightning McQueen's mouth is the worst.
It's so weird to me because, man. It looks like they used like a $39, you know, like wall projector that you'd like hook up to your phone Bluetooth wise for his mouth.
Yep.
It's very bad. So we're, you know, Elsa's face. It looks like you're watching television.
Right.
But
it does.
For the Hatbox Ghost, it works a little bit better. You can still tell it's a projection, but it has to be a projection, Dan, because the face collapses in on itself and goes into the chest of the figure.
Right. Where the face gets projected on.
Yes.
It
when
slips,
it's on his head.
It turtles.
Yeah, it turtles in. So that way you don't have the problem of seeing two heads at once.
Right.
And then, like you said, when it appears in the Hatbox, you have the Pepper's Ghost style reflection of the another projection, you know, looking around before the head comes back up and reforms and the projections come back on his head.
Right. And now I feel like inside the Hatbox itself, it's a Pepper's Ghost plus a screen, like to give it some depth. Like there's like, is it?
Right.
Is
no,
it
no,
like it's like this two?
You can see that the front of the Hatbox is a scrim, the way the original was. It's still kind of got that scrim in there, but
I see. So that when it's lit, it lights up inside. It becomes more visible.
Because it's not a physical prop. You can just turn off the projector and like the Hatbox is empty. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the way to do it. And I love that little bit of animatronic like accent that really pulls the head out and like makes a turtle to make it disappear. It's pretty cool.
Right,
it's a great effect.
Yeah,
it really
if they had just turned off the projections, you would still see his head there. It would just be completely black, you know? It'd be just a dark head that you'd still be able to see. But the fact that it collapses in makes it look, there's nothing there. There's nothing there when his head disappears from his body.
Right. I am long on record saying that the Hatbox Ghost would be an incredible walk around character for like a Halloween parade, like a nighttime thing. And if you did them like the Headless Horseman, where you lifted up the shoulders to like halfway through a cast member's head,
Right.
and then really played with that high collar, hung a hat, draped like a lot of like layered black fabric, so that the cast member's eyes are just peering through like the specific spot.
Yeah.
But he's holding a hat box with the head in it.
With the actor's head in it?
No, with the
just
skull,
the-
with like
okay,
the skull, with like the spooky Hatbox head in it, it's using the controls like Remy from Epcot. So he has on the handle, he can make it look left and right. He can make it
Like
smile
blink,
just by like squeeze. Yeah, he can do a couple things to it, and essentially at night, if it's tastefully lit in a parade, I think that effect could really pay off.
Wow. And then you could have like the Iron Man Stormtrooper thing where different hand gestures or different gestures of his cane will trigger. I don't know if he'll speak. I don't know if the Hatbox Ghost should speak, but he could do different
No, he
chuckles,
just grins.
Yeah,
he just
grins
grins
and laughs, because the laugh is Corey Burton, the ghost host from Haunted Mansion Holiday. He is
interesting.
the official voice of the Hatbox Ghost.
He does such a great job with the holiday narration.
He matched it. You can tell it's not Paul Frees, but he matched it.
Yeah, of
so
course.
close. Like it's near
Very close.
Like for people like us who know who Paul Frees and Corey Burton are, we can tell. But people who don't know what is a Paul Frees, I'm sure it's indistinguishable.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty. I love it. I love it so much. And at Disney World, I feel like there is. It's weird. It's weird. Have you ever talked about or dug into the fact that like at Disney World, it's the bride is chopping heads and there's hat boxes full of heads at Disney World, but at Disneyland, it's the hat box having a stack of hat.
Yeah.
There's this bizarre headless like head collecting thing in both mansions, but they have two separate story paths.
Well, here's something that's interesting is because Haunted Mansion opened 69 at Disneyland, 71 at Disney World. They were making both mansions at the same time. So part of me thinks that they were going to do a Hatbox Ghost in Orlando, but you know, when the mansion opened in 69, they just completely trashed it. But since the attic scenes are one-to-one recreations of each other, even down to that black garage door on your left-hand side when you go into the attic scene, by the way. I always thought that was weird.
Ghost needs a ghost needs a garage.
I guess, yeah. Where's Constance going to keep her Hummer? You know, she drives a Hummer.
Right.
She seems like the kind that would.
100%. Constance has no regard for the environment.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. No.
No.
Constance's carbon footprint is huge.
Massive. So,
Constance's carbon footprint is a great band name.
and then her license plate. What did her vanity plate say? It'd say like out. It's like out for blood, like the letter 4 and a BLD, or like
heading for you.
heading for you. Yeah, HDNG.
HDNG for
you.
HDNG dash for you.
Right. I was gonna say like off with their head, but I guess that's more Alice in Wonderland-esque.
Yeah, definitely more Red Queen.
And then speaking of Red Queen, Villains Grove at California Adventure for Oogie Boogie Bash.
I did probably would be the best.
Amazing.
Right? I did. Her license plate just saying I did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Or like
I
Till
did.
Death. Something like that. I think I
Yep.
did. Yeah. And so, Dan, did you see the trailer? I'm going to ask you right now, did you see the trailer?
Okay. For Haunted Mansion, Muppets Haunted Mansion,
Speaking of Hatbox Ghost,
I'm getting, Fozzie Bear, right?
with teeth. Because the Hatbox Ghost has teeth, so they had to get
Has
Fozzie
teeth. Which, puppets with teeth is very upsetting to me.
At least with,
and,
at least with Mr. Teeth,
puppets
that's
with
his whole thing, is he's got teeth.
Right. Yeah, but what I'm getting, puppets with human teeth that shouldn't have human teeth. The biggest one is E.T. Google E.T. with teeth, and E.T. has human teeth. It's really weird.
way.
When he screams, when he's like, ah! He has a full row of chompers, man.
No way. He does. He has teeth. Human teeth.
Okay.
They're like,
and I'm going to bring this. Yeah, human teeth. And I'm going to bring this full circle. You're going to love this. The guy who wrote Muppets Haunted Mansion was the one who did the original paint job on E.T. One of Kirk Thatcher's first claim to fame was painting E.T. Was doing the paint job on E.T.
He's been playing the long con this whole time. He says, one of these days I'm going to do another Muppet, and it's going to have
I'm going to put human teeth on that bear. Kirk Thatcher,
at Disney,
Muppet teeth enthusiast.
Disney approached him to do Muppets Haunted Mansion. He says, I will on one condition.
But,
yeah.
but.
They're like, oh,
what's your teeth budget?
What's your teeth budget? What's your opinion of teeth on a puppet bear?
But to answer your question, I have not watched it in its entirety because I'd like to go in as cold as I can.
That's a good idea. I watched the whole thing, and I don't think it gave away too much for me, but going in cold is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, like I already know too much about the special guests, which are all weird. But I mean, that's Muppet special guests are always weird. It's like that's just weird.
I was expecting to see like The Rock, and like Chris Hemsworth, the Disney A-listers. Instead,
yeah. No,
anyway,
no. Disney A-listers. No, we're pulling people from Fox. We got Will Arnett to show up, and he's like Fox's golden boy.
The Lego Batman, Will Arnett, is gonna be in Muppets.
The Lego Batman, the host of Lego Masters.
Yep.
Will Arnett will be on. Will Arnett is slowly becoming America's like a surrogate for like Lego, and like that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. It's like who is Will Arnett to be the Lego guy?
He's the Lego guy, And you know what's weird to me, Dan, is maybe they approached these people who they wanted people who were fans of the Haunted Mansion. Maybe they wanted people with knowledge of the source material. I'm wondering how. I'm wondering a lot about this special. The biggest celebrity who was a fan of the Haunted Mansion before this was a celebrity by the name of Drake Bell, and that didn't go too well. So we got people like Owen Wilson and Will Arnett now taking over the reins.
Did you watch his Zoom court appearance? The worst.
I love the.
And then someone edited it with all the laugh tracks and sound effects from the show.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, brutal. The internet's brutal. What are we doing here?
We're talking about animatronics, Muppets, and Dan, space beef.
Space beef. Yeah. Muppet Ghosts in Space is the name of this episode.
Muppet Ghosts in Space. That's actually perfect. Hatbox Muppet Ghosts in Space.
I'm really looking forward to the Muppets Haunted Mansion. I really am. Kirk Thatcher is known, of course, for writing Muppets Treasure Island, Muppets Wizard of Oz. So I feel like he has a really great grasp on translating and making existing materials campy in the Muppet style, because Muppets are very campy when they're done well. I think it's a lot of camp, and so Kirk also wrote like Muppets Take the Bowl. Like Kirk is he does all the like the shorts, like the Bohemian Rhapsody and Chris, like all those. So I really appreciate how the Kirk's grasp of the Muppets and how he does. So I'm excited.
I would say he understands the Muppets. And you know what else is campy? So it works perfectly well. Is the Haunted Mansion. Very campy. Muppets are campy.
Oh, yeah. Super. Yeah. This is a match made in heaven. Yeah. It's going to be my new favorite Muppet movie, and it's not even a Muppet movie.
I know. I always thought that was good. I mean, it shows that they didn't try to stretch it out too long, and it shows that it's not just... It's like a 50-minute special. Like, perfect. That's good.
Yeah. And I think the Muppets doing this kind of stuff, like in the parks... Like the Muppets in the parks are definitely where they belong. The Muppets do such great work in the parks.
Before we leave, Dan, did you see the news? Kermit and Miss Piggy are returning to Disneyland for the first time in ages.
For meet and greets?
We don't know. But they announced the Merriest Nights celebration, the first Christmas party ever at Disneyland Resort. And at Disneyland...
When do tickets go on sale?
I think...
Are you going to go?
I believe they're on sale. I'm going to try. They didn't sell out as fast as Oogie Boogie Bash, but I will try. Dan, if you're going to go, we should go together.
Well, if we can meet Piggy and Kermit, are you kidding me? Buddy, we're going.
I don't know if it's like the full-size dress-up meet and greet characters, like from opening day of MGM Studios.
It's not.
Or if it's just going to be the puppets from the Great Moments in History shipped to California.
Nope, not even those. No. There are a set of Kermit and Piggy Muppets out in California that are on Disney's in Disney's property.
Oh, on
that they
Disneyland
use for
or like in Burbank?
In Disneyland Burbank. It's a stunt set of Kermit and Piggy
gotcha.
that they used for the parade. There was like a parade where they had like a sized up stunt Kermit and Piggy. Then they started to use those for the El Cap when the new Muppet movies came out. They did like stuff at the El Cap with them. So there are there's a pair of a Kermit and Piggy at Disney, like over there, that are sized up, park ready. They're like indestructible. They're little tanks. So I'm sure it's going to be a puppet scale meet and greet.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So speaking of puppet scale meet and greets, can you imagine? It's like the Great Moments in History Muppets, but it's like stand in line for 16, 20 minutes, and then you just meet the Muppets, like just talk to Kermit.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing? So they said what? That they're just going to be at the merriest thing?
That's all they've said,
or what?
is that the Muppets dressed up kind of like Christmas Carol Muppets are going to be there. Like a Muppets Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens are going to be there on Main Street, USA. That's all we know.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's going to be a Great Moments kind of show.
It could.
If that's the case, because I know for a fact that they have started working on, or at the time that they were doing Great Moments, they were exploring other park second floor window opportunities.
I'm so sad they took that show away. People loved that.
It was so expensive.
Really?
Yes, because those Muppets were out in full sun and they were getting sun bleached. And so they would turn white. And so they'd have to constantly reorder them. And they were also being stored outdoors. Like it was outdoor spaces. Like they weren't like, they were air conditioned, but they were also exposed to the elements. And so these puppets they just disintegrate. They just burn out very quickly. Very quickly.
Darn Florida sun.
Yeah. So it was an expensive show. It was a super expensive show.
I'm looking for what they said specifically about the Muppets at Merriest Nights. But yeah, they're going to be on Main Street. That's all we know. And
Okay, Main Street says, okay, then one of two things. They're on a Main Street vehicle.
Oh, you know
They're
what? That's plausible.
Main Street vehicle. We're now into Foolish Muppets again. So,
we are getting into Foolish Muppets. This is a Muppet themed podcast in
should we go?
Everything but title only. I think we should go.
We should should we go After Dark? Yeah, After Dark.
Foolish Muppets After Dark.
Did you see Shang-Chi yet?
Of course I saw Shang-Chi. I love that movie.
Or did we talk about this last time? We didn't talk about this. It just came out, but
I have the Magic Band
it's
sitting
so
right
good.
over there. Oh, it's so good.
Oh no, I saw it as a prop in one of your videos, bro.
Yeah. So the end credits scene.
Yeah.
What's going on?
The mid credits or the end credits?
Oh, sorry, the mid credits scene.
Mid-credit scene. They're just, they're just re-Avengering it up, right? They're just trying to, because it's like a TV. Kevin from Defunctland always says that the MCU is just a TV show now. So like every
really
episode, it's just every episode's connected to the next one. It's just there's always going to be interconnectivity.
It's a television
and
show
I think that
told through movies.
Right, exactly. And I think that as a whole, Shang-Chi stood for the first time in a long time as an independent film.
You can watch it
from the MCU.
Absolutely. You can watch it.
Zero context.
And
right. And so and people complain about that all the time. Where are the original stories? And so here's one. But we still have to mix it in. Like we still have to pierce into the MCU,
right.
What I'm more fascinated by is the Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage after credit scene.
I haven't heard.
Have you?
Dan,
have you heard the rumors? It's bonkers, bro.
I've heard.
It's bonkers.
Okay, I haven't. I don't know if it's leaked, but I know it ties into Far From Home. Right? Spoilers.
I don't think it ties into No, I don't think it ties into Far From Home. Spoilers, by the way. I think that I think that right now they're very much playing with the multiverse kind of stuff, and I think that it very much plugs the possibility of that character poking into the MCU.
So tell me,
it doesn't like solidify anything.
Tell me what this is, because I know that.
All right, mega spoiler, mega spoiler. But I guess at the end it's like Eddie and Venom just chilling in a hotel room somewhere,
right.
And Venom's like, "Hey, do you want to see what else, like other experiences my species has had?" And Eddie's like, "Okay." And there's like this big flash of light, and then suddenly Venom's standing in another hotel room, and the TV is playing, and it's J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, Spider-Man, he's killed Mysterio, and Venom like licks the screen, and he's like, that guy, or it's like, tasty or something.
Spider-Man looks delicious.
Yeah, it looks delicious. Yeah, something like that. And then it's over, and then someone walks into the hotel room. He's like, what are you doing here? And so it's this weird, like, I don't know what is going on with it, but
you gotta think that when Sony took Spider-Man away from Disney, Sony was like, all right, we'll give him back to you, but you gotta let our movies be in the MCU.
Yeah. Right, but like now that's like we've got Mobius, coming
Morbius with Jared
Morbius,
Leto.
right? Not Mobius, Morbius. Yeah, Jared Leto. Yeah, we've got Venom. We've got Craven.
If we had a Mobius movie.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I'm just waiting for Mobius to end up being the Silver Surfer or something. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait. And Owen Wilson, like, voicing, or maybe Owen Wilson's like a Galactus variant. I can't wait for whatever payoff is going to be whatever Owen Wilson is, because it's got to pay off into something, right?
All we know is he likes jet skis.
Yeah, he likes jet skis, and that has to pay off in some spades at some point. It's got to pay off. It's got to pay off. Yeah, he likes to surf. Yeah. He likes to surf, dude. He likes to ride the waves. Right. If we have an Owen Wilson Silver Surfer, bro, I will go bonkers, man. It's gonna be amazing. Wow. Oh wow, that's gonna be
wow. Galactus is coming, guys. You gotta get ready. Wow. I'd be down for that.
And with that, how could there's nothing better we're gonna be able to say.
We can't top that.
Than you as Owen Wilson as a Silver Surfer. Good Lord.
Playing Owen Wilson, playing Morbius, playing the Silver Surfer.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody.
Well,
thank you so much.
Hurry
for
back.
Watching. Hurry back.
Hurry back.
All right, now remember last episode we tried to go as high as we can. Let's try to go as low as we can.
You're gonna beat me in this one.
All right, you start. You start. You can start.
All right. You know what? I've been laughing. This is a vocal. I have to lower my, and it's down. It's actually down here, and it helps if you lightly tap your chest when you're working on low notes. This is I'm. Hurry back! Hurry back!
Hurry back!
Hurry back!
Hurry back!
Hurry back!
Okay, here we go.
It just sounds like I'm saying furry back.
Furry. Furry back. I think that's as low as I can go.
Any lower?
I think that's it. I think that's the limit.
Furry back.
Nope. I've reached the floor.
The best way to get into it is through your speaking tone and then to lower your palate as you're talking as low as you can.
I try not to speak in my low real voice, Dan, because that would break the internet.
Oh, is this just a whole put-on thing?
Yeah, I always speak 3 registers higher than I normally speak in real life.
That's so specific.
You ever heard like
3.
James Earl Jones? Imagine that like an octave lower, and that's my true voice.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if James Earl Jones had like some really high-ass voice?
Yeah, he just puts on the James Earl Jones voice for everything.
Yeah, he puts on the James Earl Jones. All
right, everybody.
All right. You beat me. You beat me with the hurry back.
I did.
Low
I also
tones.
beat you with the all right. All right.